The job of a parent is to not just raise their children, but to also protect them. And that's what happened with this couple when 5-year-old Dominic Aguilar had lost his life. And the reason why he lost his life will shock you. Now, due to the graphic details of the story, viewer discretion is advised. Everything that I'm about to tell you comes from the point of view of 28-year-old Nicole Aguilar, who was the mother of Dominic. She was retelling the accounts of what happened during the trial of her now ex-boyfriend, 29-year-old Daniel Garcia. Nicole would tell the courts that her and Daniel had met back when they both lived in Florida back in 2020. They both had children from a previous relationship where Nicole had 2 children and Daniel had 1. Now, during their relationship, they had a rule where they would only discipline their own children. Now, shortly after they started dating, they had decided to move to Texas. The couple would go ahead and pack up all the belongings, including the children, and move to San Antonio, Texas. Nicole would go on to say that once they moved to San Antonio, that's when everything had changed. Once they got to Texas, Daniel would go ahead and start disciplining Dominic by saying that Nicole wasn't doing enough to keep her son in line. Daniel would punish Dominic for an innocuous number of things. And those things would range from either Dominic not answering fast enough, not eating his food fast enough, not keeping quiet, and even at one point he abused him just for him going to the bathroom on himself. Now, the punishment would range from Dominic having to take cold showers, to being spanked, all the way up to being hit in the rear end with a closed fist. Now, many of you will say that this is normal 5-year-old behavior. Now, the way that Daniel will react in a violent way towards his child is what you would call victim constitutes the stimulus. Now, this happens when a child does something that triggers a response from either a parent or a partner, which may involve a child that may suffer from a mental illness or normal child behaviors that is disturbing to an unstable, immature, and impulsive parent or partner. Nicole would even recall a time where there was a situation where she wasn't sure what happened, whether he didn't answer fast enough or eat his food fast enough, where Daniel got upset and sucker punched Dominic. She would say that Daniel hit Dominic so hard that his jaw was crooked. So the day in question that Nicole would go ahead and recall was on July 24th of 2021. The couple and the kids were staying at the Wood Springs Suites, which is an extended stay over in San Antonio, Texas. Nicole would go on to say that Dominic had did something that Daniel didn't approve of, in which Daniel had hit this child so hard that he literally lifted him off his feet, hit a wall behind him, bounced off the wall, and then hit the floor. He had hit this kid as if he was punching an adult. Now, when asked where she was at this whole entire time this situation happened, Nicole said she just stood by and did nothing. She didn't check to see if he was okay. She didn't call 911 in case he had any medical emergencies. She would say that she just left him there for hours laying on the floor. She would even say at one point he had vomited some black and brown substance. So Daniel would get up and go clean up the mess, and that's when he realized that Dominic was not alive. He hit him so hard, he had ended his life. He had hit him so hard, he gave him the game over screen. And that was when the couple had started freaking out. Nicole would say the reason why she didn't call 911 once they found out that he was not alive was because she was afraid that they was going to take her remaining kids away. So the couple came up with the dumbest idea I've ever heard of. Because in the early morning of July 25th of 2021, hotel surveillance footage would show Daniel moving Dominic's body out of room 301, down the hotel staircase, and into their vehicle. Now, the couple had the room reserved all the way up until July 29th, but they ended up leaving early without checking out. Now, the couple put everything else in the vehicle, including their children, in which they would drive all the way up to Fraser County, Colorado. Now, from San Antonio to Fraser County, Colorado, it's about a 15-hour car ride or nearly 1,000 miles. Now, the typology of crime that was committed is what is known as accidental filicide. Now, what accidental filicide is when a child's death is unintended consequences of severe battering, which means the child was beaten so badly that they unalived. Now, the couple would set up a campsite in a remote area near the Rocky Mountain National Park. Now, once at the campsite, they would throw Dominic's body into a ravine and then drive south to Mexico. And upon entering Mexico, they would continue on until they got to Costa Rica. And the reason why they went to Costa Rica was because it was believed that Nicole had family there. Now, while the couple was on the run, the family members would start getting suspicious because this couple had went on complete radio silence. And Nicole's mother used as much resources she had to try to track this couple down, in which the grandmother ended up finding out that they was in Costa Rica. Now, the grandmother would go ahead and relay this information back to Nicole's mom, in which she got the contact information to try to contact Nicole. Nicole's mother would manage to contact her, in which she started asking questions on why they left the country in the first place. And on top of that, she would also ask about the well-being of the children in which Nicole would go ahead and break down and confess to what she did. She would tell her mother everything that had happened and on where she could find Dominic's body. And after hanging up the phone, Nicole's mother would go ahead and contact San Antonio Police Department as well as the FBI. Now both Nicole's mother and grandmother would lead the FBI to the exact location that Dominic could be found. On August 25th of 2021, exactly 1 month after this whole entire incident had happened, they were able to locate the body. He was found wearing the exact same clothes he was wearing that day. However, there was not much left of him due to being exposed to the elements as well as animal activities. Now, after the autopsy was completed, they had found that Dominic had lost his life due to physical trauma. After the autopsy, his body was given back to the family members to have a proper funeral. Now, during all this, both the police department and the FBI will launch an investigation on tracking down the couple. And it wasn't until a few days later, with the help of the U.S. Marshals, when the couple was tracked down back to Florida. Now, it is still unknown on why and how they got to Florida. Daniel Garcia was found and arrested, and a day later Nicole was found and arrested as well too. And then the two would be both extradited back to Texas. Now Nicole, she would go ahead and take a plea deal in which she would plead guilty to 1 count of injury to a child causing serious bodily injury by omission, where in layman terms that means that since she had a legal duty to care for that child, she failed to prevent injury to that child. Now part of the terms of the agreement was she had to testify against Daniel in court. Nicole would also testify that after they had got rid of Dominic's body, Daniel started becoming abusive towards her and her daughter, which was the reason after they got to Costa Rica, they had ended the relationship and went their separate ways. Now, during cross-examination, Daniel's lawyer tried to put the blame all on Nicole. And the reason why was because there were text messages between the two where Nicole had said that she felt that she had failed as a mother. But what really put the final nail in his coffin was that his ex-wife had gone on the stand and testified against him as well. And during Daniel's ex-wife's testimony, she would also recall the abuse that she had suffered through him during their marriage. Now, during the court proceedings, Dominic's father, David Ingwingler, had to be escorted out the courtroom because he had got out of his chair and started lashing out at Daniel. It got to a point that he had to be restrained by bailiffs and court officials and be escorted out the room. And after jury deliberation, Daniel Garcia was found guilty to injury to a child causing death. Now, the crime that was committed, he could serve anywhere between 5 years to life in prison. But due to the fact that this was an ongoing thing for years that Daniel been doing, the judge went ahead and ruled that he would be serving life in prison. Now, some of you may be wondering why Nicole didn't just leave the relationship as well as intervene on what was going on with her son, where she would say the reason why she didn't intervene nor leave the relationship was because she was too eager to be in a relationship, which means she allowed Daniel to do whatever he wanted to her son just to not end the relationship. So that concludes our story for today. So what do you think? Do you feel that the punishment fit the crime for Nicole? Or do you feel that she should be given more time? Go ahead and put your comment down below. And if you like true crimes with a forensic analysis added on to it, go ahead and stay tuned for more videos to come. And if you're new, go ahead and watch my old videos as well too.